can't unsee what I saw. I want to share a real experience that I had about 7 years ago. This might not be as interesting as it could be because it's real. I'm not trying to make things up for the sake of entertainment, I just want to get this off my chest, as it was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. Around the age of 19, I was disqualified from the military due to a medical disqualification. I wasn't too sure what to do with my life since this was a lifelong dream. I felt very lost. I did a lot of soul searching during this time, studied many religions and philosophies. At some point I got into occultism, law of attraction, meditation, and finally, astral projection. To keep it short, I started meditating to attract into my life the things I wanted, and I also started to practice astral projection. After a few weeks, my aunt started to come into my room, scared, and began to question what I was doing. I told her I was meditating quite frequently, sometimes up to 3 each a day. Why was she asking? She told me that something very weird had just happened in the house. In fact, for a few days now, several weird things had been happening. She told me while they were watching TV, the front door of the house unlocked itself, and the door had just been slammed open. They told me things had been falling off counters, and my uncle was seeing things from the corner of his eyes. She didn't ask me to stop, she seemed intrigued. My aunt is into crystals and all kinds of groovy do stuff. I kept this going. I couldn't astral project yet, but I was able to get parts of my body to leave, as weird as that sounds. I was able to remove my arm from my arm. It's a very odd feeling to describe. It feels like your arm is paralyzed, yet another one you can fully manipulate and feel is coming out of it. I was also able to do this with my right leg. For those who are not understanding what astral projection is, it means leaving your body. I'm not sure if your soul leaves your body or if you project it mentally. All I know is it's very real. I'm not here to persuade you one way or the other, but it's thing. Supposedly you can soul travel by doing this. In any case, a couple weeks go by and my uncle and aunt need to be gone for a couple days, and I have the house for myself. So, what do I do? Have a girl over like any normal dude would? No, I meditate and try to leave my body. By this point, I'm obsessed. For the first time, I fall asleep while meditating, and what proceeds to happen is one of the most traumatic and terrifying things to ever happen to me. Who am I kidding? It's by far the most terrifying experience of my life, and it haunts me to this day. This is the part of the story I don't like telling anyone, because they dismiss it as a nightmare or, it's just sleep paralysis, bro. I don't care what you decide to call what I'm about to tell you. If you want to label it as fake, it was more real than life to me. I have astral projected a few times. I never saw anything very interesting other than my own home, freaking out my dogs, and mostly what I do is fly over lakes, factories at night, the city. I can never do it for very long. I have not mastered it, and nowadays I avoid the practice altogether, although it happens involuntarily still from time to time. What I experienced in this instance was different. It felt more physical. It felt more real. And I was attacked by God knows what. I wake up, laying flat on my bed, facing up, arms wide open and legs spread apart. The TV is on, the show Ink Master is running. It's night, but the room has a natural light to it, almost like a full moon. I see a shadow in the corner of the room. I try to get up, but I can't move. I'm paralyzed. I start being able to move, but I feel heavy, like trying to swim underwater. The shadow gets closer to me and then crawls on top of my body. This is embarrassing to say, and I normally leave this part out of the story. This thing proceeds to put its hands between my legs and press and squeeze. You know, I feel immense physical pain. There is something griping my body and really hurting me. I try to scream, but I can't. I start saying, "The power of Christ compels you," over and over, but it does nothing. My back starts to bend in an arch, and I'm slightly levitating over my bed. Everything is happening very silently, which allows me to hear loud footsteps coming from the kitchen. While this is all happening, a man walks from the kitchen into my room. I can barely see or look, but he is a middle-aged man wearing a suit, looks very old-fashioned. After several attempts of asking, my words finally come out. "Who are you?" The man standing in the corner of my room states, "My name is Lucer." I then ask, concerned, "Lucifer?" He replied, "No, Lucer." The painful back arching and floating continues for a while when suddenly it stops. I fall on my bed, and it's suddenly daylight. Ink Master is still on, and I can hear birds chirping. I never woke up from this, like waking up from a dream. It simply stopped and I was still awake. I spent the entire day looking things up online, trying to make sense of what happened. When it came night again, the same thing happens again. This entity, or whatever it is, grips me the same way and hurts me. You got to understand the pain is very physical and excruciating. I can feel its hands and fingers, and this time I'm very pissed off. For one reason or another, this time I'm not afraid. And I start trying to strangle it. I start asking it get me out of my body so I can murder it. And suddenly, it all stops. Just like that. After this second episode, it never happened again. From time to time, I'm still attacked by an entity that looks like me and am forced to fight it. But these are more like vivid nightmares, nothing like the situation I just described. I quit meditating, I quit trying to astral project, and this situation never happened again. I still involuntarily astral project in my sleep sometimes, but it's very uneventful. I don't see other entities or have bad or good things happen. I just float over a lake near my house and enjoy the view for the most part. Maybe there's more I could share, but I think I have shared enough. I never found out who Lusa was.